MarkMagic is basically just VAI's print engine. We're sitting there waiting for their product to call us, call our commands, and tell us what to print, where to print it, and you get a full install of MarkMagic when you get their product. And you could even, at a command line right now, if anyone's just sitting there, can do start MarkMag command and just press enter and start up our software. So this is a full-blown install of MarkMagic that you would get if you just bought it off the street and want to install it and start printing labels on your own, which you can do. If you wanted to do something on the side, not necessarily integrated in S2K software, you could design your own labels and forms with this. Or you could even design new labels and forms and integrate them into the S2K software. So that's definitely doable too. But it's not like you're left dead in the water when you get S2K installed, because they definitely do ship a library full of formats that we call them their base forms and labels. And they sent us that library, nice of them, called R60MM. So this is another library that you would get when you get S2K and MarkMagic installed, R60MM. So I can switch MarkMagic to looking in that library right now. So I've basically got MarkMagic started in that library, and you can toggle F10 and see everything that's in there. A huge list of laser printer formats already pre-designed, invoice forms, packing lists, POs, and the primary driver that they used is HPLJ4P, and that's a black and white laser printer driver, very standard stuff. A lot of forms already designed under that, as you can see here. And there are a couple other drivers as well related to PCL color. You can see that there's been a couple already added here. And then there's also Zebra printer driver labels here. So ZTS 300 is one of our Zebra drivers, and they ship some labels that are already integrated in S2K as well. They print labels. There's a UCC shipping label, and there's some others in box labels. So it's not just limited to laser forms, for sure.
Yep, and you can PDF any of these forms or labels.
Yep, definitely. So we're going to look at a couple of forms in a different library, because you can see this is the base library that they ship. And what they recommend when you start getting in and using MarkMagic and customizing it, because you're probably not going to use the base forms as they are. You want to add your logos, switch things around, switch things up, and you'll see that how we can do a little bit of that in JMagic in a little bit. But before you do that, they highly recommend copying any of the base formats or labels that you want to make mods to into our R60MM mods library.
And another,
so that's a totally different library. Go ahead.
Yep, and another reason they ask you to do that is because if they send you an update of S2K, they're gonna ship you another R60MM, and if you made changes, you don't want your changes to get replaced with the default stuff. So it's another really good reason to use the mods library.
Yeah, so never make changes in the R60MM library.
Who would ever do that?
I don't know, Chuck, who would? So R60MM mods. So I'll switch over to that library. And if we look in that right now, it's a little bit barren. There's only 2 formats in it right now. These are the 2 formats that I'm going to show you, the PO and the invoice. But as you start customizing more and more forms will be in this library. And you can see we've got the PO under the HPLJ4P driver, the black and white driver. That's the standard one that you are shipped, everything's shipped under. But what I did for want to show off a little bit more of this stuff in 9.5, a little bit of the color and shapes. I've copied the invoice VAI in DTA format to HP PCL5C. It's our laser color driver. And I just used the format copy tool. Very simple to copy to a totally different device, HP PCL5C. And it just a straight one-to-one copy from HPLJ4P to the color one. So when we open that one up later, you'll see now that there are a ton more options for adding color.
And that's also
to the
where you can
format.
choose the to user library too, where you can copy from
Oh,
MM to MM mods. Yeah. So, and this
yeah,
is
that's actually
maybe
how they would.
the
Yeah.
end of the green screen. I don't know how much more green screen you're going to show. People are probably like, wow, they're doing 5250.
Yeah. Yeah.
We like to show it's
Hey.
real. This is live.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
show you another thing that's real is their data. So just to show you what VAI basically does is I did that before, didn't I? Work a spool file. What they do is they're just spitting out plain text in a spool file, held spool file. And they've sent us a few, and we look down here, we look at, say, the PO spool file. Their program is really just creating these pages of plain text. And the spool file gets handed off to our program, MarkMagic, and the plain text is just stripped out line by line, column by column, and placed onto a MarkMagic designed form, which we'll check out right now.
Yeah. So how does
Minimize
all that
this.
like happen, right?
So
Yeah.
now I'm in JMagic now. It's no more green screen for the moment. So this is where you're going to do all your designing and developing of the forms because it's way better. We'll open the PO form for now.
And this is the live AS400 form. I mean, so JMagic connects directly to the AS400. You can see it down in the bottom left. There's our IP address for the system he's on and showing the actual format. When he saves things here, it saves right on the 400. There's no upload or download or any of that stuff.
So yeah, everything on here. This is one of the base PO forms. You get this. You get this format by default. I added a Cyber logo to it, and I've also added a couple of the new features in 9.5. Especially to this graphic up here. So when we create the PDF of it, you'll see something unique in the graphic. But everything up here is like its own little entity that you can drag, make bigger, change the font, change the point size, right click, change font, stuff like that, alignment. Everything you can resize using your mouse now. Even these box fields and line fields are all their own elements that you can drag around and reshape and resize. So everything's customizable. You can delete entire columns if you wanted to and reposition things and make more room for other data. So this JMagic view is super handy, super helpful for modifying and even making new forms from scratch for VAI. So a couple of the new 9.5 features when it comes to PDFs. So when we print this guy, because if I do a print preview, which is kind of skipped over that, I want to show you something really neat. In JMagic is another great ability to turn on print preview. Magnifying glass at the top here. If I browse out and choose a PO spool file that's out there, you saw that one before with all the plain text in it. Preview against that, and you can see there's 10 or so detail lines in that. That's what you get. We scroll to the bottom here and there's information there at the bottom. Everything's at the top. This is what it would look like if you printed it along with the graphic.
And preview is a great tool. Like if you're going into a format like your current ones and you make changes to it, because you can make changes to them and then go through the system and print them out or PDF them to yourself, or you just preview them right there on the screen and then change whatever you want to change. And we like to use preview when we do demos because it shows you really quick. We don't have to go and grab another file and then scan in a printout. Everyone wants to wait for that.
I changed the font size a little bit. Maybe those were a little bit too small before. Now it's a little bit easier to read. So that's awesome stuff to be able to just preview right there. And maybe I made it too big and the wording overlapped this barcode. So stuff like that. It's very handy in the preview. So, but when we make a PDF of that, there's a couple enhancements that you can add to the PDF. And if you look at this logo and check here, there's enable PDF URL encoding.
That's brand new for 9.5. That's 9.5, yep.
And it allows me to just tie the graphic to a website URL. So when we create the PDF, you can just click that logo and it takes you to cyber.com.
And I'm sorry, Ken, I know I keep driving people with cars, but that link could be a variable link too. Like you could link it to products or to some landing page or some special promotion you're having or anything.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's not just a static info. It can be definitely variable information that you pass at print time. And then down here, another new thing by this signature section here, for those that want to sign it digitally, you can use our new editable text field on PDFs. So I just created a new text field, typed in some prompt information that they'll see when they open up the PDF, and then it's just a very simple usage choice down here. There's a usage menu, and I'm choosing editable text field with prompt. So when you create a PDF of this form, I've got it over here. Let me open it up. Here's that. When you saw the preview before, this, you might have thought I just opened the preview again. No, this is PDF output. So you can click this up here. If I were to click it, it would open up cyber.com. You can see that. The finger changed to a pointer there. Mm-hmm. And then down here is the editable text field. So if I'm happy with this,
there you go.
Enter, save it, yep. Send it back to the sender, and they have my signature now. So.
Yep. And that could be, you can have as many of those on the format as you want. You want your customer to type in a quantity for their order. It's like, yeah, hey, you know what? Make our format a little bit smarter and have those editable fields. So when you mail it to them, they can make those changes, save it, and send it back to me. Very professional.
Let me open up the invoice now. So this one's a little bit different. First of all, it's landscape. It's under the PCL5C driver. Remember before, so there's a little bit of splash of color here already. But you can add more color now. If you choose these, lasso these guys up, now when you right click and choose color, there's a whole list of colors here you can choose. Set them to blue, stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. So another neat thing in 9.5 are new shapes. So this box, boring. Let me get rid of this.
Who wants to see a box? Anybody could do a rectangle.
We'll add an oval on here now. One of the new shapes.
That's where it's at.
That new shape menu here, you saw there was various shapes, arcs, ovals, and circles. Let me drop that on there. Colors for the shapes as well. So a red oval, even shading, 30%.
Inside of it, yep.
Not bad. And then I believe there was the lines as well. If we click a new line here, I can drop one on here just to show the new options for lines, rounded ends, triangle ends. And those become much more apparent when you set the thickness of the line. So I can make this guy, 75 thickness, for example. And you can see, if you zoom in, everybody, you can see there's rounded ends there. So rounded and triangle ends.
Small stuff, but nice little touches to make your stuff look special.
But something that's definitely not small, if we do a print preview on this one, let's do a print preview. Keep your eye on the bottom of the form though. So I'll do a print preview, browse out. Try to do this quick because I only have 10 minutes left and there's some really meaty stuff coming up. So if I hit OK on the invoice preview.
Oh, is our audio? Someone just sent me a thing saying the audio cut out.
Audio is cut out? I'll keep on going, let me know. So I did the preview here and it shows that the bottom is drastically changed now and there's the word continued showing. And the rest of the format that used to show the totals and the taxes and subtotals are gone now. And if we go to the next page, you can see a text field showed up here, shipping's free. We'll talk about that. But then the rest of the form showed up at the bottom. And that's all handled with print transformer conditions. And just quickly show you a list of conditions up here. So basically, it's just a 3 conditions here that are handling all of that. And if we look at one of them, it's as simple as just saying, turn off all of these fields when something, and then turn on something else when something. So when the total is blank, we can turn all this stuff off down here. And when the total is not blank, then that's when you get the stuff turning on and off. So that's how that's handled. All these are the line fields. This green one here is that continued word there that turns on. And then even down here, free shipping. If I edit that one, that one's on its own here because we wanted to actually test just that shipping information, which was 0. So when it's 0, we turn on your shipping's free, just to let everyone know that your shipping's free for that order. And when there's shipping greater than 0, then it's not going to show that, obviously. So that's handled by conditions. And the other half of print transformer, other than print transformer conditions, are the rule sets. And this is you can do a lot with rules. It's basically just allowing you to change how things print, where they print, when they print. A lot of stuff you can do with it, but here's a great example that a lot of VAI users want, is they want to print, redirect the printout to a different printer based on something, and they want to print a second copy, for example, for accounts payable, archiving, and whatnot. So this rule set is actually just testing data right on the form for salesman. Salesman 1, if it's salesman 1, it does something. If it's salesman 4, it does something. And if it's salesman 5, it'll redirect to salesman 5's printer. So basically we're saying if salesman is number 5, print to my printer. And if it's salesman number 4, it goes to Aaron's printer, and so on. So to this format, it's printing to salesman number 5, and you'll see it show up in my printer. And then we're using another great feature in print transformer rules called AND rules. And it allows us to run the first part just like normal and print another copy. So it's printing an AP copy to printer device AP. So it's basically getting 2 copies from one print job. So VAI calls us once, just like normal. You don't have to change anything on VAI side. They call us just normal, except you got this extra rule set attached to the printout. Now, this little extra logic happens before our output happens, and then you get an output to the salesman printer and to the AP printer. And I can show you that on the green screen side, because that's where all the magic happens when printing. If we get back into MarkMagic, and we go back to our print command, and you can see when our print command is ran and it has the rule set on it, that's how that happens. The rule set's attached to the regular old print command. And when we run this print job, it was so fast, I don't know if you saw it. We go and check out our spool files. You can basically see that, well, my test was here from before. Let me get rid of those. So we've got these 2 output just came out. The one printout that went to printer Ken, and then the other output, which went to PRT AP, the account payable printer. So that was done by the rules. So really cool stuff.
That was done with 0 programming. It was just the same printing that S2K always does. All you did was add a rule set, point and click, added a little bit of smarts to it, and now you're printing in different spots, and you could even email and archive somewhere. You can do multiple things with it. And it's really testing the live data. What's the data inside of that?
This second printout doesn't have to be printout. Could have been an email. And print an email. So we got a lot of people that want to print once and send an email. So that's how you can use it. Print transformer rule set using AND rules. So that's what I have for you. Really neat stuff.
I just wanted to ask on the condition part, Ken. Can you make, I mean, you showed some real basic stuff, and we always tell people when it comes to print transformer, which is an option within MarkMagic, that's not part of the bundle, that you're only limited really by your imagination as far as like you're turning fields on and turning some on or turning some off. Really everything's fair game, right? You can test anything you want, look at different SKU numbers. If you see a SKU number, then print something. Hey, I see you ordered this and you may want to order that. Like I'm just trying to think of a simple basic thing.
Well, sure. Folks. So that shipping and handling text, maybe you want to match this color here on the "You're shipping free," just to kind of get them to understand that that's related to that. So this free shipping here, for example, we can get in here. It's turning on the free shipping text, but let's add another one. Add action. We'll choose a text field and we'll start modifying. We'll modify the shipping and handling text field right here directly.
Okay. All right.
Let me click OK on it. And rather than just basic toggling on and off of the condition, using conditions, you can get in and drill down and start changing point size, change the font.
The position of it. You could do things with barcodes, change the symbology of a barcode if you wanted to.
Change the color, change the styling.
So you're just going to make italics and magenta. Okay.
So basically we're turning on this text field, letting people know, hey, it's free, but we'll tweak this text field over here a little bit using conditions. So I hit OK, and let me save my format. I'm happy with that. Turn on preview again. So
the first
continued,
three.
that's fine.
Let's go to the second
And we'll
page.
go to the next page.
Oh, and there it is.
Shipping and
Yeah,
handling.
new
Your
color.
shipping's
Okay.
free, 0.
Again, it's that's a simple, example of it, but you could have logos change. If you're printing from different companies, you can dynamically have your format change and make it look like a different company without making a new format. So it's all, we're looking at that data and dynamically changing the way things look, and you can even change where they go and how they PDF and all that. So that's all part of that little print transformer part. Okay, very neat.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what I have for you guys. Yeah, awesome stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you.